folks, welcome back to the channel. Now, a couple of weeks ago, we did an 800 years in the future database, and I asked you if there's anything else you want to see, let me know, and I'll make a video all about it for you, and your ears, and your eyes, right now. So, if you missed part one, check that out, link in the top line of the description. Also, big shout out to Darren Taylor, who put this database together, a link to the forum post he put on the Sports Interactive website down below as well. Check it out if you want to download the database yourself. Warning though, it's a gigabyte big, so enjoy that. Right, what I thought we'd do then is focus on some of the things that have happened, and the first of which is to go through all the Premier League teams and see how they did as the game was made. So obviously this is the last year now as we look at it, but to see where they finished or how they're getting on, what they achieved in their history. That was a big thing that was requested, so let's kick things off with that. So we'll do it in alphabetical order because I think that'll be the easiest, and we'll kick things off with Arsenal, that you can see won the Premier League 101 times with 57 Champions Leagues and remain as well in the Premier League. Move on to Bournemouth, who had a pretty uneventful time of it. 5 FA Cups, 28 Championships. Burnley won the Premier League twice, with an FA Cup winners winning there as well. More ordinarily, though, a Championship team, and actually finished in League One, as you see it there. Chelsea, 86 Premier Leagues, 37 Champions Leagues, and remain in the Premier League as things stand. Crystal Palace, again, pretty underwhelming, much like Bournemouth. No Premier League wins and are currently sat in League One as things stand in 800 years within the future. Everton with 9 Premier League wins, but that's pretty much it. Not too much else to speak of, and are currently a Championship side. If you move over towards the next one. Hull City, 54 Champions Leagues, 131 Premier Leagues. One of the most successful clubs on the table, on the database, as I'm sure you can imagine. Top of the Premier League still, even now. Leicester City, 40 Premier Leagues. Of course, this was the save in which they were the winners of the Premier League. 26 Champions League wins in there for them now as well, so not too bad. Liverpool did win the league 70 times for them now, with 38 Champions Leagues. I'm sure they never go on about it. I am a Liverpool fan, I'm allowed to say it. Manchester City, still pretty dominant, 122 Premier Leagues and 68 Champions League, which to me is an awful lot. Manchester United, again, 72 Premier Leagues, just 2 more than Liverpool still, it seems, and 29 Champions League, so they're doing pretty well as things stand. If we go over to Middlesbrough, again, pretty uneventful on the Middlesbrough side, not too much going on, but still a Premier League team despite never winning it or doing anything else, it seems. Southampton, Champions League winners, Premier League winners, but that again is pretty much it for them, not too much else going on. Stoke City, still a Premier League side, that had a very good season last year as well, 21 Premier League wins, 18 Champions League wins. We move over to Sunderland, who of course were a Premier League team at the start of this year's game, 30 Premier League titles, 13 Champions League winners as well, so not too bad for them. If we take a look at Swansea, we can see 2 Premier League wins, 1 Champions League win for them. So Swansea, I think, have got the most trophies across the board. They've got a long list of trophies of Swansea. As we take a look at Spurs, who have got 65 Premier League wins, 32 Champions League wins. So again, doing rather well as things stand. 26 FIFA Club World Cup Championships, which is again not too bad. Now Watford, I thought were probably one of the more interesting sides. So we'll take a look a little bit more at Watford. You can see there, currently a League One side, but have been probably as low as anyone has been. So I thought, oh, well, I'll take a look at the competitions in which they've been at. You can see sort of how long the database takes to load different things as well. Here's me trying to figure out currently whereabouts I go to find their previous league positions. It was a bit of a mess, but yeah, got relegated, it seems, quite early on within the Premier League, and you can see they spent a long time in sort of the lower reaches of the southern tier, and they had some spells in League One. You can kind of see there in Championship. I was going through it a lot. It's 800 years. I wasn't going to go through each year individually, but they'd dropped quite low down. Whereas on the reverse of that, West Brom were a side that have obviously, you wouldn't necessarily see West Brom as being sort of for 800 years. You would think maybe West Brom at some point would drop down, but they were always a League One, Championship, or Premier League side. I think League Two very occasionally, very occasionally, but not that often. Always in the top 4 tiers, always were up there, but more often than not were a Championship or League One side. West Ham, you can see there, 5 Premier League titles, no World Cup for West Ham. I don't know why that's not listed, but yeah, that's going to bring us to the end of those European Cup winners, which they'd obviously had before, but they're doing pretty well at West Ham. Right, let's take a look at some other things then. Records were other things people want to see, so let's take a look at those. Okay, folks, let's take a look then through some of the records of Premier League era. Let's see which ones are still standing. Let's see which ones were shattered. Let's put it that way. So, the first, I mean, we'll take a look at it straight away then. Hull, as mentioned, 131 Premier League wins, have won it the most times. And Sunderland, I wasn't expecting Sunderland to have done this, 105 points, set the record for the highest points total in a single year. 105, that's a lot of points. I'd be interested actually. Shall we take a look at that season actually? 2,317, bear with me. Okay, so as you can see, oh, they were so close. I didn't realise, I did wonder though, they didn't quite get an invincible season. They were very close close, but didn't quite get it. 105 points, 34-1, 3 drawn, 1. What was there? I mean, you know, it's always good to have a good first. Your first album's often the easiest on them, but what did you do after that? They won it again and again, and then finally came fourth. So there you are then. See, that eventually became Arsenal. So, you know, you go near to the Invincibles and, oh dear. I've got nothing against Arsenal, it's just a joke. Take a look at a few other things then. Things that stand out at least. Highest attendance, Manchester City versus Manchester United. 140,000 people. The population will be growing over the next 800 years, I would imagine. So that's not that unreasonable in reality. Highest average attendance is Chelsea, 127,000. That was a couple of years ago, actually. So, in fact, that was 20 years ago, which in the context of this save actually isn't too long ago. Highest scoring game, and these are the ones that are interesting, like biggest win as well. Manchester United, which remains the biggest win at 9-0. 7-4 between Portsmouth and Reading, you might remember that. That's 10 years ago now, horrendous. Most games won in a row, Leicester, 2,207 to 2,208. Had 24 matches won in a row. You can only assume they must have won the league that year, and lost in a row. Cardiff went 17 matches lost in a row. That is, I wonder how many managers they went through. In terms of without losing, now Arsenal keep that record, 49 games without losing, so that's not too bad at all. Really good for them to keep hold of that over 800 years. Most team goals, Aston Villa, I mean, they had that years and years ago, never beaten. Most conceded, never beaten for Blackpool as well. Most goals in a season was Edgar Oliver for Hull, and if you take a look at Edgar Oliver, you can see 456 goals in 626 appearances. I would imagine he was a Hall of Fame. I mean, he must be a Hall of Famer for Hull. He must be. I mean, he won everything with them. Lifted the Premier League about 15 times. It looks like did everything and had an incredible goal record as well. Fastest goal was actually Gabriel Barbosa, scored it for City in 2023. So still within the realms of almost now, which isn't too bad, is it? Oh, he had that. Berbatov 5. That this is one that surprises me. We did a 1,000 years database as well. If you want to check that out, I'll leave a link for that in the description as well. Dimitar Berbatov, 5 goals in the game, never beaten. I mean, that's ridiculous to me. 2010 against Blackburn, that was set, but it was never beaten. Of course, if you want to pause and look at any of the others of these, then you can do. Be my guest. You know, I'm looking through some of the biggest wins. A lot of them are just sort of 4-0, 5-0. There's not any real big sort of crunching. Again, like 4-4. You can see a 7-0 by Chelsea against Morecambe. That was a bit of a standout one. But apart from that, there's not too many in there. Highest scoring games are very often 3-3, so the AI very rarely punish each other a lot. I wanted to look at most games won in a row. Weirdly, they put it in the centre, but Leicester with 24, Tottenham with 22 was the longest. Now, what about losing streak? Because Arsenal got a 49, of course. Was anyone close? Okay, so without losing. Now, we saw Arsenal do this once, quite ridiculously. Did a team come anywhere close? 47. Oh my word, could you have imagined? Okay, teams actually came very close without losing. Tottenham got 46. I just wondered now, are they still on that run? Are we stopping it? But no, 46 for Tottenham. Oh my word, that's so close. City, United, Chelsea, United, Arsenal, Tottenham, City again. They're all up there. We had a few teams do 38. So invincible season-wise, a few teams might have done it. Although a few of these may well have crossed over. I'm looking like for sort of an August to October. City certainly had an invincible season that year, you would assume. 2,242. In fact, actually, that might not be true when I think about it, because they must have lost the opening game, maybe. So Arsenal may still be the only invincibles. It's quite hard to tell. Well, there's one there, actually. Arsenal, 2,181 season. I've got to check that. Did Arsenal go invincible again? That is the most Arsenal thing I've ever seen. They did go invincible again, but they didn't win the league. They won 19 and drew 19 and lost the league by a point. So, oh, Arsenal. I mean, we did find it funny. If you don't watch last episode, we saw that Arsenal finished 4th, like 800 years later. But Arsenal, it's unbelievable. Okay, I love it, sort of. Okay, let's take our focus away from the Premier League. A big thing that was requested, European Championships. We didn't actually look at it. We looked at the World Cup, but we didn't look at the European Championships. So let's see. Did England do very well in that? 3 World Cups they got in the last video. How much did they do? European Championships. Okay, if we take a look at past winners, oh, we are dominant. And when I say dominant, I mean we won it a number of times. If we click on them and then look at their history, we'll see just how many. Because I could go through and count, but it's too late now. I said it's too late. I could have gone through by this point. It's still loading. Then again, I am trying to load a country. Okay, so they're 3 World Cups. They got 15 European Championships. Now, that is no disgrace. Right, 15 European Championships, not bad. What I am interested to see was only surprise winners. I mean, Armenia won it one year. That is a bit surprising. Is there any other teams here? I mean, the usual suspect, Germany just win it all the time. Greece in 2004, still a bit of an outlay for them. I haven't won it again since. Poland won it one year. pretty good. Romania got one as well. Serbia won it 3 times. Spain dominant, as you probably suspect. Sweden, Switzerland, Turkey, and Ukraine are the only other teams that have won it within this save. I mean, not that eclectic, is it? There's not as many teams as the World Cup. There was a lot more variety within some of those. But there you are then, European Championships, not too bad. If we look at the records for that and look at the overview, again, I won't go through it, but if you want to look at it, pause it, check it out, you can do. Most clean sheets, Donnarumma, a name that we recognise. I'm just seeing if there's any other names we recognise. Karai was the oldest player still, because he wears pyjama pants. So there you are. Most goals in a season was Will Collingi. Let's look at him. Again, Hull strikers. Everyone was a Hull striker. Every good player had played for Hull at some point. Okay, Champions League. Let's take a look at those then. Marseille, as mentioned, 115 wins for Marseille within that. Did rather well. Most goals in that. That's really interesting that the AI don't take points off each other, or don't take like lots of goals off each other. Messi's 5 against Leverkusen in 2012 remains the record in the Champions League. No, and you'd think that, like, sometimes some of the teams in the Champions League aren't that good. You'd think at some point over 800 years that would be broken. I assume in real life at some point, like in the next 5 years, I predict someone will probably score 6 goals in a game, and that will probably happen. But no, Messi keeps it, it seems. Other records out there, most games without conceding. West Ham hold that, apparently. They did rather well. Most teams, Tottenham got 43 goals one year in the Champions League. 43, that seems like an extortionate amount of goals. And did really, really well in that season. We've got that Murat Polat, got an 8.79 over 10 appearances in 2053-54 season. Did rather well. Most goals in a season, 18. I wonder if that was in that Tottenham year. It wasn't even in the same year, but they did rather well as well. If we look at the past winners, again, this is comical. Now, of course, there may well be questions. Why are English teams so dominant comparatively? And why are there no other random nations from, say, Italy, Germany, France, or Spain? It was only an English sort of database. It wasn't. It was simulated within England. Those were the leagues loaded, so they are the ones that change everything else. It bases itself basically on reputation. So there'll be minor changes, like Marseille became a dominant force over PSG, but you're never going to see like a team from the 3rd tier rise their way up, if you know what I mean. So that's why you see Barcelona, Real Madrid, these sort of teams still up there, which I kind of like. But I guess to have a huge database would be, I mean, that would take a long time. So respect to Darren for not doing it. If we go through there, you can see Arsenal pretty dominant. Aston Villa had theirs in 81-82, which is just the single one. Atletico Madrid, Barcelona. We're kind of looking for the English teams, though, to see if there's any outliers. Chesterfield and Coventry are slightly strange. Derby County are in there as well. Hull, I mean, there's a whole page of Hull. Look at it. Hull, blimey. Into Juventus. Leatherhead got 5 of them. Leicester, Liverpool got an awful lot. Lyon are there as well. Manchester City, Manchester United, Marseille, again, just as dominant as Hull, really. More so dominant than Hull, you'd probably say. Milan, Newcastle got quite a few as well in there. Porto, PSG. Is there any other Premier League sides that we can find a bit funny? Southampton got 1, Stoke got a few, Sunderland got a few, Swansea got 1 despite achieving very little else. Tottenham did really well, and Wolfsburg down the bottom there as well, also sort of beat some of the German opposition off. It was only really unlucky teams, actually. We'll quickly have a look at this as well. We'll go through. I know this on your eyes, this is going to be a little bit painful, but I'll try and stop it if I see any funny ones. There's so far not too many. I mean, Bayern Munich are going to be cursing there like against some of these English teams. Blimey, imagine me Bayern Munich and losing to Coventry City and then Hull back-to-back years. Right, let's have a look. Any other teams that have been really unlucky? Hull, I mean, we talked about how good they were. Blimey, they were runners-up a lot as well. Leatherhead won it 5 times, runners-up 4 times. A little bit surprising. Leicester are runners-up quite a lot, as were Liverpool, Manchester City, oh my word, and Manchester United, and Marseille. I mean, Marseille are outrageous. That's how many times they're runners-up, by the way. That's not how many times they won it. That's just runners-up. There don't seem to be any other anomalies in there. Southend got a runners-up. I mean, if you're a Southend fan, you might quite like to see that. But I think that's going to be at West Ham runners-up as well at one stage as well. So there's some Champions League stuff. If you look at the award winners, I mean, I could show you the award winners, and I will do, but you have to understand that you'll recognise none of these names. I guess we can look at the top goal scorers in some of the competitions for the Golden Boot. But again, there's not much you'll be able to take from this, really. So, I mean, yeah, Cristiano Ronaldo was actually, he got 2 of the top 6, Cristiano Ronaldo. So, I mean, credit to him for that. He's done rather well to stay up there, hasn't he? Right, that is going to bring an end to this particular one. Again, I'll say this again, and it'll be out a little bit quicker last time. I had a few things going on. If you want to see another episode of this where I look at different things, comment section. I think I covered like these were the three. I'll be honest, folks. These were the three big things you wanted to see: where the Premier League teams were and what they had achieved in that, the European Championships, the Champions League, and some of the records from the Premier League teams. They were the most requested things. Try and keep it away from a single club. If you really want to see that, then download the database and check it out for yourself. But if there's something more general you think we should cover that people would be interested in, comment section. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like. If we get aim for 1,000 likes, that'd be fantastic. And if you want to see some more FM18 around the corner, there's going to be some interesting things going on the channel, hopefully. So we love with care from Little Twins. Until next time, goodbye.